Yeah, 2019 will be my year, man.
Again?
Hi guys, this is Rufaro back again with the podcast, and I'm joined by none other than.
Farai Mutimba, guy who writes articles.
First time you said your surname on the podcast,
Yeah,
eh?
we have to end it with authority, government names.
So yeah, we're about to get into a new year, 2019,
Yeah.
and 2018 feels like it just blew past us. Like it was like a few months ago it was January, literally, but now already it's December, and people are going for Christmas and
Wrapping it up.
So it's like exactly wrapping it up. We're thinking what really happened in 2018, right?
Yeah.
Like we can't just close off the year without looking back and
back.
seeing, did I do anything sensible or was I just wasting my time?
Was it another one of those years?
Yeah, but it's not about me and you.
Yeah.
If you want to know,
Neither is it about elections.
it is about what happened in terms of tech.
Yeah.
Right? What was happening in the tech ecosystem, and this is not everything, but these are some of the highlights, things that kind of caught our eye. Like, whoa,
Popping
this is
up
either
continuously.
new or it's now happening
Becoming a trend.
more frequently.
Yeah.
So we'll take a look at three things. So the first thing will be bots in Zimbabwe, and then we'll take a look at video on demand services in Zimbabwe,
Yep.
and then we'll lastly close off with tech meetups in Zimbabwe. So to start off, bots, I was shocked this other day. So I had my Stuart Bank card, right?
Yeah.
The ZimSwitch card. And I didn't know whether it was going to work after. So there was a date that's written on the card, like it's expiring in August 2018. I was like, I'm not sure whether it's gonna stop working then. So I went on their Facebook page, and then I sent, actually not the Facebook page, but the app. That's when the app was there. I went into the app, and then I sent a message to the customer service, and then I was replied that, oh, actually no, don't worry about the card, the expiration date on the card. It will continue working if it's a ZimSwitch card. If it's a MasterCard or Visa card, yes, you need to worry about it. But the way I asked the question, it was such in a human way and confusing. You know how when we are talking, I would be like, so I have this problem, I'm not sure whether, I'll be able to keep on transacting. My card says it will expire on August 2018. It's not easy for
a system.
Yes, for a system to just understand that, okay, this person is worried about their card, expiring. Because I'd even said, do I need to come to the branch or something? And then this system figured it out because they're now so smart, it's not hard-coded. And if you're wondering, the system is Batsi. So Batsi is Stuart Bank's Facebook or bot. It's not just on Facebook. They also have it on their app. And she's there to kind of like solve these routine questions that people have, right? So you're like, yes, my card says it's gonna expire. Do I need to worry about it? And then it says no. Or you say, oh, so my card is not working, and then tries to kind of understand why it's not working. If it can't solve it, will then be like, oh, all right, forwarding it to someone who can help. But to a human, because machines, as much as I love AI, machines are not yet there yet where they can fully replace people. You still need that human touch. But yeah, for me, that was like, wow, I can now do this. Before, I would have had to go to the bank, not knock, but get inside and talk to someone and say, and then be forwarded to another person. And then after that, I finally know what my problem is and how to solve it.
And even those awkward calls.
Yeah, and those are even frustrating calls. When you're calling, you spend like 2 minutes just waiting on hold.
2 minutes is okay. 2 minutes is hard. 2 minutes.
Because there are other people on the same call as you who are waiting to have their problem solved. But yeah, it wasn't just Stuart Bank, right, who came out with the bot. There was also
FBC. Funny, little known fact, FBC actually came out with one prior to Stuart Bank coming out with one. Yeah, but then Stuart Bank was really loud about it. And
that's the thing, about the Econet group. They scream when they do things, and it's like
it works, eh?
FBC.
It works.
I didn't know that they had a bot until I saw the article, and I was like, oh, FBC had an article at the bottom that actually came before.
Yeah, it really works, and I guess if you work at these corporations, just talk about your thing. That's how people get to know and get to use it and make it a cool thing. So, but yeah, there was FBC's Cheetah, which essentially does the same thing. I'm not sure if it's as good. I didn't use it. I'm not banked with FBC. So yeah, it's basically dealing with customer queries as well, bank balances, that kind of stuff. I'm not sure if it does bank transfers though.
Okay.
I'll say no. I'm not sure. I won't commit. I won't commit. In fact, I'm not sure. There was also what else was there? There was a number.
So it's not just banking. There's also the Zimnat one. Where you can ask insurance related questions, because Zimnat is an insurance provider. And then outside of corporations, there are ordinary people. Like, I know you said it's not about elections, but
it actually seems like it is.
Just before the elections, we saw Fadzima using a bot to campaign. So the bot would send you a manifesto instead of having to find it somewhere, download it,
go and collect it.
Yes, you're already on Facebook. Just send this bot, hey, I need the manifesto, and then it sends you, and then you can see and understand what she was campaigning about. And then there's the MP who started using the bot.
I think it's Kuwadzana MP, Kuwadzana East, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, sorry guys, but yeah, he used his bot post elections after. So I'm not sure if it's still functional, but after the elections, this was where if you live in Kwazana East and there's some problems, you just interact with this bot on WhatsApp, you tell them the problems, and then they're directed to whoever they need to be directed to, I guess the city council or whatever.
And I like the question that you brought up about the FBC one, whether it does bank transfers. I'm not so sure about Batsi as well. But I do know that there were other bots that actually helped you in accomplishing a transaction. So there was Coolibot. Coolibot came out and you could buy electricity tokens on WhatsApp. So you just send it a message, hey, I'd like to buy electricity. You tell it your details and stuff. And then EcoCash pop-up comes, you pay, and then you get your token.
Done.
Just like that. So there was an actual service to that. It wasn't just an informational thing. You'd actually end up accomplishing a goal. And then there was eBuddy. I'm not too sure about eBuddy.
eBuddy, I used it, but I used it such a long time ago. I think that was in March or April. But eBuddy is more like the banking counterparts, where it's customer queries. You want what's it called? That elusive code, that path code, PDK. That I think that's really what I remember. That's what stood out to me. But it's basically customer inquiries where calling 111 is gonna get you on hold for a long time, or at least it usually does for me. Why not just take it to this bot? It's a much easier experience.
So there were quite a number of bots in 2018. Probably we didn't cover everything. There are probably other bots that came out, but these are the ones that were close to mind. If you made a bot, hey, share with us. Let us know what it's about. And then
that comment section.
But I'm curious, is this just a 2018 trend? Was it just so that we look like we're making progress, let's introduce a bot in terms of the companies? Or are they going to abandon them and be like, Takaisa, that's it?
Well, I think with where the world is going, like we said last week on that Stuart and Khashoggi thing on our last podcast, check that out, please. It's where the world is going. It's convenient. People really don't like conversations with other people over the phone. I don't want to look dumb when I'm asking you questions. I'm ignorant, but I don't want to admit. So I'd rather just talk to this bot and get my help and dip. And so I think it's convenient, and I think it's necessary. I think, and the players who have been doing this are really influential players. So I do think
the other guys will start following.
Econet. The other guys will probably follow that. Stuart, the other guys in banking, FBC, or I won't say FBC followed because
They started first. Yeah.
But we've seen Zimnat now do it, and Zimnat are really like on this cool thing right now where they're just trying to do things that are cool. But I think other guys will just have to follow because it's also going to show in revenue statements because the guys who are doing this are probably going to be employing less people. So once you're talking numbers, man, capitalism wins.
Yeah. So just to touch a bit, you might be wondering how come Kulibot was the only WhatsApp bot. So WhatsApp has been.
Fazan Mahiri was, man.
Fazan was also.
Don't take it away from her.
All right.
Her bot was called Shandu. Exactly.
Okay.
Shandu was also on WhatsApp. It was WhatsApp NFB.
Okay, so there was a technical challenge to WhatsApp, which is why it's still there, but now WhatsApp is kind of opening up more. They're introducing an official way for developers to interact with their chat app. So hopefully we see more of companies actually using WhatsApp bots because we've got a lot of more people using WhatsApp instead of Facebook Messenger. So so even look out for text, not promising anything like this year, but look out for us. Something's coming up on WhatsApp, self-plug, you gotta be the devil self-plugs as well.
From time to time, you gotta flex, man. Flex something.
So enough about bots. It wasn't just about bots 2018. Yeah. There was also video on-demand services. So Netflix is type of thing in Zimbabwe. So we had TelOne DEOD, and then we had Kwese iFlix. Kwese iFlix came before TelOne DEOD. And like we talked about them quite a lot the last time, but it's still one of the highlights of 2018 because we never had these, like entertainment platforms. It was either DSTV or ZBC.
Or Netflix if you can't afford the Forex and all those loops and whatever.
I still keep referencing ZBC. Is it still alive or what?
Yeah, ZBC. We need to have another podcast on ZBC. We'll look at that next year.
So it's like all these different companies are now coming into this streaming service. And when we're talking about it, like a few weeks ago, I'm not sure which number podcast it was, but the one on video on demand services, we were like, is the market ready? There was that question of, this thing requires data, number one. Number two, is the content even ready, right? Like, do you have enough content to draw me there? And, pretty much those two.
Pretty much those are the factors.
And, if you're wondering about the answers, I'm going to be that guy who doesn't tell you the answer so that you'll listen to the other part. I'm joking. But essentially, the content is not there because they don't have a lot of local content, number one. Number two, the biggest one is both these players or any player that's probably going to come in the next few months, they won't have the English Premier League rights. So they won't be able to satisfy all those soccer fans out there. And we know that, football is such a big thing in Zimbabwe. That's why people go to any length.
Man, have some respect, man. It's a big thing in the world.
So that's why people will go to any length, right, to pay for DSTV, even though it requires Forex because DSTV has football. So those are the challenges that are there. In terms of the data side of things, that one they can't really solve it except for Econet, I guess. They could zero rate their thing, but I don't know whether that will be competitive advantage. There are these rules that you can't just zero rate things.
Net neutrality.
Yes. So all those things. So there's that. But TelOne did zero rate theirs kind of on.
I don't think we don't have net neutrality laws in Zim,
so those things can work.
But then I don't think it's economic because you have to pay for this bandwidth. You see, that's why you see apps like EcoCash, they're zero rated because you're not using 1 gig on EcoCash a month. It's not a big deal. They can give you that data. But if you're not watching soccer Saturday, Wednesdays midweek when it's Champions League, Saturdays again, it gets a bit hectic. So maybe the economics wouldn't justify that as well.
So it's interesting whether they'll survive, because speaking of Kwese, the satellite TV is now dead. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah.
But there's still these streaming services that are left from Kwese iFlix, and Kwese Play.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious whether 2019 they'll still be there.
I think they will. I think right now they're not there. It's like the data is not there, the content is not there, therefore the VOD services are not there yet. But I think it's something they can iterate on. That I think maybe that's one of the best advantages, where I'm assuming that the teams working on this are not like huge teams like you would have with normal broadcasting stations like years ago. So they can sit on these things and like develop them as they go. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Especially how, I think it was yesterday, there was news that Netflix is going into African content.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, if Netflix now has African content, original African content, why am I going to pay for TelOne DEOD or for Kwese iFlix?
I think
outside of the Forex.
I think why you would, outside of the Forex even, is the lucky thing these guys have is, I don't think Netflix is coming to Zim anytime soon. I don't think the numbers justify that.
But you can open a Netflix account in Zim.
No, coming to Zim as in making original content in Zim.
Okay.
So these guys have a chance to like start making content here and that way I won't mind having two services. One in Lukungona, where I'm only watching local content, and another one where I'm watching everything else. Okay.
So yeah, we'll keep our eyes open for 2019 in terms of video on demand. I'll definitely keep my eyes open, because I don't do DSTV, but so I need these things to survive for me to remain sane.
I think the thing that comes back to you most when you're talking about this conversation is you constantly think about the price of data and how we have so many constraints or hoops that are not even in the control of the guys who are making these services. So maybe that's another thing that's tricky. But they can iterate. They're learning lessons anyway. No one has figured it out perfectly. We're seeing Disney come in, Netflix is actually also facing some heat in that all of the guys all the content they were usually showing, everyone who's making that content is not doing their own thing, and so everyone is still figuring it out. So there's hope.
So the last thing that you spoke about,
and less depressing topic.
Yes. About the teams, right? The teams that are not big. So these platforms, right? So the video on demand services and the bots that we spoke about earlier, they don't just wake up and into existence. Someone is making it out there, and those people are developers, right? Hopefully developers in Zimbabwe, I'd like to believe. But one thing that's been happening for 2018 is...
Well, we know for DOD and iFlix, they're not Zimbabweans.
they're not Zim developers.
But we'll get there, I guess.
But for 2018, I saw a lot of meetups happening in Zimbabwe. I don't know about other cities, because they feel like they were heavily skewed into, Harare. Because I usually have one or two people who tell me, yo, why is this just happening in Harare? Harare is not the only city in Zimbabwe.
It's where it's at, man. Like, unfortunately, I admit it's an unfortunate thing, but it's where it's at.
So in case you're wondering what, tech meetups happened in 2018. So there was the Facebook Developer Circle. They held monthly meetups at Impact Hub. And then there were a bunch of hackathons that happened in partnership with companies. So there's the likes of Net1, there's Zimnut
twice, man. They're on a roll. In fact, the other one is not a hackathon. Initially, they called it, had they? I don't remember, but the other one is an accelerator. And then they had a hackathon a few months ago.
Alright, and then there was also...
Nico's Diamond.
Yeah.
Oh, these insurance cats are not playing, man.
Yeah. And then in terms of meetups, there was, well, events rather. There was the Google Developer Group event, there was PyCon Zimbabwe, and PyData. So it's a meetup to do with data science and more specifically how that happens in relation with Python, the programming language, not the snake. But yeah.
But even if you're not like interested in Python, you can go there because they were really emphasizing on AI and machine learning. So I guess it's a good way if you're interested in any of those to go. Oh, you can't go because you're gonna hear this.
After.
Well, you can read about it.
So yeah, but yeah, I really like the fact that we have more of these events happening.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Hopefully, because we tried, not to toot our own horn, but I personally, as a developer, tried to attend as many as I could. Tried to write about the interesting things that were happening there. Because like at the Google Developer Group, that's when Pay Now, right? The payment provider, payment gateway, right? They announced that they now have these new tools that make it easier for developers to work with their system. So it's like all these things have been happening, and hopefully they keep happening so that we have more integration and collaboration specifically with the companies.
Collaboration especially,
right? Because people always complain that it's not easy to build this thing on X platform because it's just closed out. But there's a need for that innovation to happen. The more meetups we have, the more people talk, share
those
ideas.
Connections, that network,
So it's like that. And then the companies with the hackathons, I'm not sure how I feel about that because I don't want it to be just a way of crowdsourcing ideas, because this is something that a lot of people have noticed. So when a hackathon comes up, usually it happens like this. Company X is having this hackathon. They want to build this system, right, in this field.
In their business.
In their businesses, right? And then there's the fine print that says whatever you come up with, you don't own. We will own the intellectual property. Exactly. So whatever system you build there, or ideas, they're not really worth it. But in terms of system, if you actually build a minimum viable product, something that can be seen as possibly becoming a production value, they're like, we own that now. It's not yours. So it's like, that's why I'm a bit scared about, hackathons, where it almost seems like you don't want to do the work of employing me, right, to solve this problem for you. So instead, you just say, hey, come as many as you are, fix this problem, and then whoever has the best problem will give you,
and
prize.
Maybe I actually want to ask you about that. What do you think about this approach? Maybe it's a bit unethical. I don't know how you feel about this, but whenever there's a hackathon, these guys are stating the problems they're facing, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about not participating in the hackathon, but working around this thing and then going and pitch it separately? You just guerrilla market it. You go and pitch it, and now let's say in the insurance field, there are like maybe 10 players. This from my head, of course. I don't know how many insurers there are. I know there are a lot, but clearly maybe this is a problem that's industry wide. So I'm gonna pitch it now to you guys, to X, to Y, to Z, to W, to everyone. How do you feel about that?
So first instinct is that it's not a good thing. But at the same time, you don't own a problem.
Exactly.
So I would like to say I would have figured out the problem, but I'm not that smart, right? I can't perceive the problem of every single company, which is why there are companies out there that have problems that haven't been solved by tech. However, there's the possibility that I could have stumbled upon it if I looked close enough. Or Farai could have come to me and told me, hey, I see this is happening in the insurance. Can't you use your skills to solve this problem? So I don't think they kind of own a problem. By all means, right? They say if it's especially like agnostic to their company, right? If it's a problem that every player in their sector is facing and they say it out loud, you've said it out loud. If you wanted to keep it a secret, don't tell me. Don't publish it. Don't go on radio. Look for a developer on the low. Have them sign the NDAs, right, so that they don't speak about it and get it developed. But once you say it in the public, it's a problem that's in the public, and if I solve it, and then my thing, I then ask all the players to bid for it, for them to get access to it. It's like, hey.
So exactly, you're hearing it here first, developers. Remember, there's a hackathon. Take that idea, work on it. If you're gonna participate, cool. If you're not, cool. But just work and pitch. I think it's fair game, to be honest. I think it's fair game.
What I'm not sure about is if you attend.
Or like if you attend and then you win, or
because usually when you attend, they then give you more access to their systems.
Oh,
so they then give you like this privileged information that you don't necessarily see. It might be closed a little bit, but you now have better context of how their system works. So you could engineer a perfect solution and then like force their hand to pay you more. Yet you could have just given them when you attended the hackathon. So when you attend,
I guess.
And
now
it's even
it becomes, are there no non-disclosure agreements when people are attending these things? Because they're getting, I remember at the Mid One hackathon, did they get access? I think they could, I don't really remember, but like you're saying, you're getting access to information that you otherwise would never have had, and that helps you in creating whatever solution you are creating. So.
Yeah, I think they did, because usually the problem is being solved specifically. It's funny how this is now a hackathon section.
It'd be like that sometimes.
I guess the other stuff, it's like, that's what happened, you know. There were meetups that happened and
hackathons and whatnot.
Yeah. So you do get access because it's a problem that could be applied to another competitor, but they want you to solve it using the tools that they already have. So they will try by all means to enable you to do that. They won't be like, we have this problem, we have our own systems, we won't let you see them, but solve this problem for us. It's kind of like inefficient. They might as well give you a little bit of access, just enough for you to solve the problem in a basic way. If you need more, they then give you more. But about the whether it's fair thing, the fair game, if you attend the hackathon and you come up with the solution at the hackathon, there's now that issue of when you signed up, not just ethics, when you signed up, you gave away your right to own that idea because it originated at the event.
Exactly. Yeah, usually there's that. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Maybe another entirely different discussion where it's a whole podcast in its own. But another cool thing I attended this year was what was it? WordCamp Harare a few weeks ago. Not what I expected here. I expected people to be geeking out, but it was really it's a mix. We've got developers there, we've got content creators, the bloggers and whatnot, and it's the synergy. They're just meeting in between and figuring their way out on WordPress. So I really do think if you're a blogger, that's one you should keep an eye out for.
Yeah, and I hope that we have more of those events, right, in the tech scene where it doesn't force you to be a developer or a programmer, right? Exactly. You can come there as someone who's not doing programming and understand, right, and benefit from it. And I don't know about, so that's the weird thing, like, there's some events that I attended where the gender disparity was like huge. There were more guys than girls. And
WordCamp was cool though. There were more guys, but the girls were there.
So there's that. There are other events where I attend and it's balanced, and I don't know whether it's a topical thing because there are events that are specifically said like pie ladies.
Yeah.
And then the name even says this is for ladies, right? And then ladies show up, all of them. You kind of understand, right? Or the mentorship week, that there's a lot of stuff that happens with Python. Like Python is big in Zimbabwe. So it's like, is it that if it's not marketed, but shared in a way where it's specific to girls don't just attend? Or is it, because I was talking to someone and people were like, and this person is a girl, right? And she was like, this argument of like women are not in tech should just end because it's not because they're not allowed to get into tech now. It's now an issue of I'm just not interested.
Okay.
And-
Well, it's not necessarily they're not allowed, but I think there are some stigmas that make it harder than it would for them to get into other fields. I think maybe that's the thing where you are allowed, but if you have to break down like 20 doors where the next guy is breaking down 5, it's like, do you have the energy for that? But that's another whole discussion as well.
Yeah, and we've pretty much maxed out our class. So yeah, this has been it from us. Just a recap of the recap. We first touched on bots.
Yeah.
You know, in 2018 we had a lot of bots coming out in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
And some of them were company based, some of them were actually service based. Individuals.
But just a mix. Really.
A mix. And then we also had video on demand services that were coming out. And yeah, we're wondering whether this is going to just end in 2018 or 2019. We'll keep on seeing those things. And then last but not least, we had a lot of tech meetups. And I don't know whether it's just because we're now looking at them more specifically or it's because they were now more out in the open.
Yeah.
Because there's also that I didn't start developing this year, but it could be I started going to events this year. Exactly. So I now see a lot of them. Yeah. So yeah, but I hope that more people who are not in the field actually get to see these events. But yeah, this has been it. I'm Rufaro signing out. I will see you as you guess in the code.
Alright, signing out. Please don't forget, send us maybe things you want to hear us talk about in 2019. What else? Like, share, subscribe. What else?
Oh, the jazz.
You know, it's the last goodbye for 2018, so you make it a bit lengthier. But anyway, hope you have a fantastic holiday. Do some things for Christmas. Get a kashagi loan, and if you're broke, and you know how it is, man. It's a tough economic situation out here.
Disclaimer: not sponsored by Econet Group. It's just that they're the only ones who have it.
But anyway, peace out. See you on the blog. We'll see you in 2019. In terms of the podcast. Yeah. 2019, new podcast, new year. New me. You know how we roll. Peace.